By your bedside, the latest hits and the greatest memories, information, news, sport, music and entertainment, requests and dedications. 99.5 FM.
A pleasant good morning from Monrovia and welcome to Newsnet. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa and our one world. My name is Stevenson on this 7th day of June, anchoring this edition. This newscast is relayed on the Voice of Hope in Plibo-Sodic and Maryland County. In our headlines, government and the European Union sign a new economic cooperation agreement attracting initial $27 million indirect budget support as Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan calls for the ratification of the new pre-financing loan agreement in the tune of US $426 million between Liberia and Ibomaf. Patients of leprosy in Swakoko Rehabilitation and Reintegration Center in Bon County alarmed over lack of adequate medication, saying their food does not come on time. Press Union of Liberia says all is now set for its 2018 Excellence Awards in Buchanan at the weekend, while lauding President Weah for resubmitting a bill seeking to decriminalize free speech. And away from Liberia, Ethiopia's governing coalition has announced it will fully accept and implement the peace deal that ended its border war with Eritrea. Our top stories, the news bulletin, the actual voices of those making the news, including foreign developments, are all packaged in this edition. We're taking a very quick break to be right back. Welcome back to Newsnet. Up next is the Bulletin of News and Augustine KOLLIE. Good morning, Augustine.
Good morning, Olive. Good morning, everyone. The government of Liberia and the European Union have signed a new economic cooperation agreement under the theme Moving Liberia Forward. The signing of this agreement has also trickled an initial contribution of Euros 27 million by the European Union towards direct budget support for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The instrument, which was signed by both Finance Minister Samuel Twell and EU Commissioner for International Cooperation and Development Nivan Mimika, it's the first of many contributions to be made to Liberia under the new Moving Liberia Forward Europe-Liberia Partnership. Following the signing of the agreement, a release from Brussels quotes President Weah as assuring the EU and all other international partners that every dime of their money invested in Liberia will be accounted for and that the projects will deliver to the benefit of the Liberian people. Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan has again called on the National Legislature to ratify the new pre-financing loan agreement in the tune of US $426 million entered into by the government of Liberia and Ibomaf. On Tuesday, despite critical concerns from the public, the lower house passed the controversial $536 million Ayrton loan, only awaiting the decision of the Liberian Senate for concurrence. justifying reasons on the ratification of the loan in a public hearing at the legislature Wednesday. Minister Nyimpan assured legislators that the loan, when ratified, would address the deplorable situation of roads in Liberia. He said the government needs appropriately $3 billion to erect more roads, given the insufficiency of funding allocated to the budget of the ministry. Also speaking, Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Policy Samora Wolokoli told the legislators that the loan agreement, when ratified, will come in 4 tranches. According to Deputy Minister Wolokoli, the loan will go towards the Kessley Boulevard Road, Toll Town Road, among other areas. For his part, Justice Minister Musa Dane told the legislature public hearing that the signing of the loan between the Liberian government and the BOMA is not in violation of the laws of Liberia. Patients with leprosy at the Swakoko Rehabilitation and Reintegration Center in Bong County have alarmed over the lack of adequate medications aimed at improving their welfare. The lepers have also complained of the lack of timely provision of food, better shelter facilities, and other needed materials at the center. According to the leprosy patients, their lives are in danger, adding that they are currently living in a difficult situation. The leprosy patients told our reporter that they continue to suffer because present and past government administrations have failed to listen to their plights. They have meanwhile launched an immediate appeal to the Liberian government for urgent assistance. Our Bong County reporter Melvin Stewart said government is yet to respond to the leper patients. The Press Union of Liberia has announced that all is now ready for its 2018 Excellence Awards Night and Dinner scheduled for Saturday, June 9, 2018 in the port city of Buchanan, Grambassa County. The event will start at 7 p.m. prompt at the fairground in Buchanan and is expected to bring together journalists, former leaders of the PUL, media development practitioners, government officials, and members of the aid community in Liberia. Each annual Excellence Awards Night and Dinner is intended to identify and honor the work of journalists and media institutions that performed with distinction during the last period. In order to fulfill this significant aspect of Liberian journalists' peer review regime, the 2018 PUA Awards will consider 41 categories, which includes this year's introduction of recognition for Best Community Radio for each of Liberia's 15 regions, Best Reporting on County Social Development Fund, and excellent coverage on reporting public finance are also among the new categories for this year's recognition for excellence in journalism in Liberia. Meanwhile, the pen pushers of the Press Union of Liberia will take on Besson 80s in the build-up to the awards night beginning at 4 p.m. in a friendly football encounter. Coach Roland Moba has selected a formidable squad that will see him clinch victory in a second spell as head coach of the pen pushers. Meanwhile, the Press Union of Liberia says it is delighted to learn of President George Weah's resubmission to the National Legislature, a bill seeking to repeal some sections of the Penal Law of Liberia in an effort to decriminalize free speech. The bill seeks to amend Chapter 11 of Penal Law of 1978, repealing Section 11.11 on criminal libel against the President, 11.12 on sedition, and 11.14 on criminal malevolence. In a statement issued in response to the resubmission, the PUL sees this latest presidential action on efforts aimed at decriminalizing speech offenses in Liberia as a jumpstart to enhancing freedom of expression. The union is honored by the professed goodwill of President Weah to name the draft criminal repealed in honor of PUL immediate past President Kamara Abdullah Kamara in recognition of the fallen free speech activist. Kamara Abdullah Kamara was an outstanding voice in the advocacy to improve the legal and operational environment of the media in Liberia, and the PUL commends President Weah for the recognition of such national work. At the same time, the Press Union of Liberia has commended the Speaker and members of the House of Representatives for the introduction of the bill seeking to repeal some section of Liberia's criminal penal code. The bill was introduced in the House on Tuesday and sent to the House's Committee on Judiciary for study and report to plenary in 2 weeks. This station has received a report that the government of Liberia has abandoned the body of a Nigerian national at a 2B funeral home in Kakata City. The head of the funeral home said since the body was deposited at the pile by workers of the Justice Ministry in July 2016, and they have since failed to get it out. According to Patrick Tubi, the government of Liberia owes him 75,000 Liberian dollars for the removal of the body, stating that he finds it difficult to continuously keep the body with no positive response from the state. The head of the Tubi funeral pile has promised to parade with the body through the principal streets of Kakata City as a means of drawing government's concern. Our Maigibi County reporter Emmanuel Sensi said the death of the Nigerian national, only identified as Aki, came after the exchange of firearms between police officers and some Nigerian nationals who attempted robbing the Eco Bank in Kakata City. Rivers County Senator Dallas Gué says the downtrend of the education sector is as a result of low budgetary support due past government region. Senator Gué said the educational sector in the country continues to deteriorate due to less attention given by educational stakeholders. According to him, a radical approach must be taken to revamp the sector for the good of the country. The Rivers Senator made the assertions Wednesday when the Liberia Accountability and Voice Initiative launched the More for Education Advocacy campaign. Given the overview of the program, the Coalition for Transparency and Accountability in Education National Coordinator Anthony Myman said the launch of the More for Education Advocacy campaign is to strengthen accountability through governance in the Liberian educational sector. Myman noted that the project, which has been supported by USAID, will be implemented by 7 local institutions in Liberia for the period of 1 year. A member of the Liberian legislature has called on Muslims in the country to offer prayer for the nation. Muslims worldwide are observing what is known as a holy month of Ramadan, a period of immense prayer and fasting. Representative Yahya Kolubar of Mansurado District 10 spoke Wednesday when he donated 210 bags of 25 kg rice to the Islamic community. The lawmaker also presented 50 bags of 25 kg rice to few mosques and the National Muslim Women Association of Old Road in District 10. Receiving the rice on behalf of Muslims at the Gala Street Mosque in Monrovia, the Grand Mufti of Liberia, Sheikh Abubakar Sumaruru, lauded the lawmaker for the gesture and promised to pray for Liberia. Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji has outlined the city of Monrovia challenges and presents his vision for sustainable development in moving at the 2018 Africa Capital Cities Sustainable Forum. This year's Africa Capital Cities Forum, which focuses on a series of challenges faced by cities in Africa, ranging from water and sanitation, climate change, energy and transport, is currently taking place in South Africa, with the city of Schwanning the host. Presenting on behalf of the city of Monrovia, Mayor Jefferson Koji commended the mayor of Schwanning and the government of South Africa for granting Liberia a visa waiver under the leadership of President George Weah. He also appealed to extend such goodwill in creating a student exchange program between the University of Cape Town and the University of Liberia, as well as providing buses to help tackle Liberia's transportation problem. This, according to him, would help improve the education sector and address the deplorable transportation problem in Monrovia. The youthful mayor also outlined the current capacity of the city government of Monrovia in addressing the issue of solid waste management, stressing the need for government to prioritize solid waste management as a way of alleviating burden from the city government. The head of the National Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia, Chief Zanzan Kawa, has called on government to discontinue the transfer of taxes collected in the counties to national government. Chief Kawa said the money should remain in the county and should be used to carry on development in that county rather than sending it to national government. According to him, several counties collect huge taxes on a monthly basis but do not benefit, as the monies are often transferred into government revenue while citizens face serious challenges. Although the traditional chief did not make specific reference to any county, few years back, The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning announced that Nemba County collected more taxes for government, while recent record shows that Maryland and Grand-Bassa counties are now in the lead, followed by Maigibe County. Chief Kawa made a statement during the opening of a 3-day National Traditional Leaders Conference in Ganta, Nemba County. The conference has been held by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and the National Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia in partnership with the Carter Center Access to Justice Program with support from UC and the Swedish government. Also speaking, Carter Center's Chief of Party, Pee-wee Flomoku, pledged his organization's support towards working with the government of Liberia for the successful execution of its Propo agenda. 4 men detained on allegation of rape have been set free by Criminal Court E at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia. Criminal Court E is a specialized court meant for the prosecution of rape cases in the country. Augustine Bay, Roland Sampon, Edward Panan, and Tony Freeman were on Wednesday released after spending at least 3 years in detention without trial. Liberia Land Authority Chairman Dr. Tello Brandy is calling on the National Legislature to speedily pass the Land Rights Bill currently before that body. The Land Rights Bill, since its submission to the legislature during the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has languished in the corridors of the legislature without passage. The delay in the passage of the bill has led to a lot of peaceful protests Capitol Hill by Liberians operating in the land sector, but has not captured the urgency of the legislature. And Montserrat County District Acting Representative Sad Joseph has praised the management of APM Terminal for sponsoring the education of the district youth at the Monrovia Vocational Training Center. The district acting youth, after their graduation from the MVTC in different disciplines, were on Wednesday presented to the authorities of the APM Terminal as a means of appreciating the entity. He welcomed the decision of the APM Terminal as part of its corporate responsibility to investing in the youth of his district. Speaking on behalf of MVTC students, John Kamara commended the APM Terminal for the initiative to invest in the education of young people in the district. Meanwhile, APM Terminal Managing Director George Adjia thanked the youth of the district who graduated from the MVTC for recognizing the efforts of his institution. And that's the shift of the news bulletin.
We would like to say thanks to you, Augustine KOLLIE, for filling us in with the latest from our news center. Well, if you're just tuning in, the program you're listening to is Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. And stories we following this morning: government and the European Union signed new economic cooperation agreement, attracting initial $27 million in direct budget support, as Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan calls for the rectification of the new pre-financing loan agreement in the tune of US $426 million between Liberia and the Igbo Mouth. Patients with leprosy at the Swakoko Rehabilitation and Reintegration Center in Bon County, alarmed over the lack of adequate medication, saying their food does not come on time. The Press Union of Liberia said all is now set for its 2018 Excellence Awards in Buchanan at the weekend, while lauding President Weah for resubmitting a bill seeking to decriminalize free speech. And away from Liberia, Ethiopia's governing coalition has announced it will fully accept and implement the peace deal that ended its border war with Eritrea. With that, we take our first development. Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan has again called on the National Legislature to rectify the new pre-financing loan agreement in the tune of US $426 million entered into by the government of Liberia and Igbo Mouth. Justifying reasons on the rectification of the loan in a public hearing at the legislature Wednesday, Minister Yimpan assured legislators that the loan, when rectified, will address the deplorable situation of the roads in Liberia.
that Liberia needs $3 billion or thereabout to be able to pave the roads in our network, considering the fact that our budget is not adequate enough to positively respond to this challenge, and also considering the fact that intervention from our bilateral friends is not sufficient to redress this chronic situation, we as a country need to look and pursue other means through which we can develop our country, specifically roads. So we've come today to discuss the loan financing agreement between IBOMAF SA and the Republic of Liberia. As I am under oath, I'd like to assure you that when this agreement is ratified and the loan accessed, the Ministry of Public Works will ensure that the loan is utilized for the stated purposes. We'd like to also assure you that we shall proceed in conformity with best practices as established locally or internationally. So we ratify this loan agreement. Distinguished honorable ladies and gentlemen, we will not be able to do all of the roads in Liberia. Some of your constituencies will still remain untouched, but at least as a country, as a people, we will make some progress in the right direction. So it's well through to Greenville corridor, which is close to 190 kilometers. Greenville being the largest port facility in Liberia in the southeast.
Mabutu Yimpan is the Minister of Public Works. Also speaking, Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Policy, Samora Wolokoli, told the legislature that the loan agreement, when rectified, will come in 4 tranches.
The total disbursement for financing of this loan agreement is $420,210,000 United States dollars. And when it's completed, it will come in 4 tranches. And this is expected to be concluded within 50 banking days after the effective date signing of the agreement. And of course, this agreement will deal with issues regarding the Somalia Drive, Cassidy Boulevard Road of around 16 kilometers of road, Tapeta to Zreju, 112 kilometers of road, Totam to Cote d'Ivoire border, 10.2 kilometers of road, Zreju to Greenville, 185.5 kilometers of road. This agreement is basically the government of Liberia is going to issue a Euro bond with a face value of the same amount of the total disbursement of the loan, which is around $420,810,000 United States dollars. And this loan is going to attract an interest of 5.6% to finance this loan. The terms of the loan is a 15-year period. And this 15-year is inclusive of a 5-year interest-free and principal-free payment. And then that will commence after the first tranche of the loan amount is disbursed. The loan shall be disbursed in 4 tranches as follows. The first tranche will be 30%, will be disbursed in 50 banking days after the confirming the date of the sovereign guarantee from the Central Bank of Liberia. The second tranche of 30% shall be disbursed following the completion of 40% of the works and certification and completion by the project owner and engineer. The third tranche of 30% will be payable following the completion of 100%.
Samora Wolokoli is the Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Policy. Patients with leprosy at the Swakoko Rehabilitation and Reintegration Center in Bon County have alarmed over the lack of adequate medication aimed at improving their welfare. The lepers have also complained of the lack of timely provision of food, better shelter, facilities, and other needed materials at the center. Our Bon County reporter, Melvin Stewart, said government is yet to respond to the leper patients.
The lepers are currently in need of food. As you are aware, Smith, the real season is already here, and the issue of food for people to get their living going is a very critical thing here across the country. You are aware, especially where the prices of goods are in hike on the Liberian economy. So the lepers are in need of food for now. There's major thing that is stressed upon. They need food, they need medication. As you are aware, the last time I reported on the OKNet news about the lack of essential drugs at the Phoebe Hospital here in Swakoko District, where a lot of patients continue to cry out. Yes, of course, they go for checkup at the hospital and
is there anything that the local county authority can do about this? Are they equally informed about the situation of the people at that rehabilitation and the reintegration center?
I tend to be corrected. For now. When they spoke to me 2 days ago, they said, since they continue to cry out to the people, to the leadership of this county, including their own representative, Edward Kafia, they have not heard a lot from them. They have not heard anything much from them, that they are willing to assist them, continue their living. But what the stress was, if the government, the Popo government, President Weah will listen to that cry like he has done to other areas, like to other orphanage homes across Liberia, it will be very wonderful for their families, because this place is not just for the lepers. The lepers have their families that reside in the camp with them. And some of them, their children, they have remained there, and they have both children. And they want the children to be educated as well. They want an improved health facility in the latest was something before the 2017 general and legislative election, when these lepers were to be assisted by a son of the district, Pastor Peter Flomo, because Pastor Peter Flomo worked for Teamwork Africa, a local NGO that was in the move of constructing water wells around this county. But that institution did not yield any fruit because of some politics. And the lepers kept crying that their lives are in danger, their lives are not safe. And we made a tour there, along with some of my colleagues from across the country. We made a tour there and spoke with the lepers at the time. They ourselves investigated and saw the need that the lepers actually needed assistance.
Melvin Stewart is our Bone County correspondent. This station has received reports that the government of Liberia has abandoned the body of a Nigerian national at the Tubi Funeral Home in Kakata City. The head of the funeral home said since the body was deposited at the pallet by workers of the Justice Ministry in July 2016, they have since failed to get it out. Our Maigibi County reporter Emmanuel Sensi said the death of the Nigerian national, only identified as Aki, came after the exchange of firearms between police officers and some Nigerian nationals who attempted to rob the Eco Bank in Kakata City.
We're talking about $75,000 Liberian dollars that the Liberian government owns a local funeral home here in Kakata called the Solomon Funeral Home. Is a little bit outside of Kakata City around the Bostonland community. This funeral home, according to the proprietor Patrick Tupi, since July 2016, a Nigerian national was involved into an exchange of firearms who attempted robbing the Echo Bank, but the Liberian National Police got killed them, so the fact they all went there. But in the moment, he lost his life, and so the government took the body of this Nigerian national who they identified as Aki to the funeral home, the Tubi funeral home in July 2016. And Tubi then did some work on the body, he found the body to and did unnecessary things. But since then, the Liberian government, according to him, the justice system went about running after other information about this Nigerian national, who according to them he is a businessman, or he was a businessman in Monrovia. He had a business in Monrovia, he went there to close down his business, so his materials and other things are in the possession of the government, according to Tupi.
Let me just find out, since 2016, what effort had the owner of this funeral parlor or funeral home made in terms of contacting the relevant authority to make sure this money owed them has been settled?
He wrote the former superintendent, John Bowie, in Madam Selly's administration. He wrote John Bowie, even wrote the post informing them about the body of Akis, who is currently in the possession of Solomon Tupi, so that the government can go and settle all financial obligations.
Is the body still at the funeral home?
Body is still at the funeral home.
Since July 2016.
Since July 2016, but that the government does not pay his money. He has threatened to take the body in the prison street of Kakata when he be able to parade in Kakata with the body, calling the government to, of course, pay his money.
Emmanuel Sensi is our Margibi County correspondent. Riverside County Senator Dallas Goa says the downtrend of the education sector is as a result of a low budgetary support, though in past government regime. Senator Goa said the educational sector in the country continues to deteriorate due to the less attention given by educational stakeholders.
So what we have been putting in education over the past year is what we are getting out. And if the paradigm will have to be shifted, we have to take, trust me, not a political approach, but a radical approach to this issue. And one of such recommendations that I made to the former leadership of this country was to declare education a national security emergency. We should not wait for gun to be sounded at our door before we declare a state of emergency. The continued lack of support to this sector will lead this country to continue increased illiteracy rates that will pose a danger to the future of your little children that are educated. The few educated ones will be the enemy of the masses that are uneducated. And this is a threat to this country. As I speak to you, 2 days ago I drove my car, I brought the windshield down, I wore the car shop closed, and I passed through a market. I drove through a market, and the only statement I heard was anger being vented at me. These are some of the roads that are eating the money in the country. All sorts of things. If you look deep down, I have not broken through the mommy window before. But what are they venting? Our frustration. Lack of equal opportunity. So we who have the opportunity to dress neatly, you who have your children attending JJ Roberts, you are the enemy of the people who have their children.
Riverside County Senator Dallas Goa. Given the overview of the program, the Coalition for Transparency and Accountability in Education National Coordinator Anthony Marmin said the launch of the More for Education Advocacy campaign is to strengthen accountability through governance in the Liberian educational sector.
More for Education advocacy campaign runs from April 2018 to April 2019. The project is being implemented by 7 non-governmental organizations, including the Coalition for Transparency and Accountability in Education, COTE, National Teachers Association of Liberia, NTAL, Helping Our People Excel, HOPE, Inclusive Development Initiative, RDR, the National Parents Teachers Association Network of Liberia, and YOCEL, Youth Coalition in Education. The education program is a key component of LIBERIA's 5-year project sponsored by USAID that aims at strengthening multi-stakeholder partnerships to advocate for and monitor policy and accountability reform in Liberia. It aims to increase the influence of citizens and media in the governance of public goods and services, as well as to create more effective, accountable, and inclusive governance in Liberia.
Anthony Mami is the national coordinator of the Coalition for Transparency and Accountability. Well, let's now take some of your text reaction coming into our Facebook page. This one says, "Good morning, OKFM, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia. I'm George Xavier Nambwe, and I write from the most organized district in Matsurato District 11. OKFM, let me publicly commend President Weah for his fruitful visit to the European Union. I think the Slocum Propo is gradually gravitating to an agenda. I'm in support of the development in Liberia, especially roads in the southeast. But President Weah has to be very careful with the corrupt guys around him. As it relates to other issues, I think in my mind that this government has no interest in the health sector. Every day there are series of unaddressed health-related issues. President Weah, please attend to the people living with leprosy. There are Liberians also that need care and medication. If the health minister position is heavy for Dr. Jala, replace her. To conclude, let me congratulate the leadership of the PUL for such a unique occasion scheduled for this weekend in Buchanan City. The Excellence Award can motivate journalists and media practitioners to be very serious with their profession. Trust me, OKFM, the motherland will never fall, and George Xavier Nambwe of Bonneville writes. This one says, good morning, OKFM. The press union is doing well under the capable leadership of its president, Charles Coffey. We hope deserving institutions and personalities will be awarded during the Excellence Award night. I also want to seize this opportunity to commend President Weah for resubmitting the bill to decriminalize free speech. The lack of freedom of speech is the beginning of tyrannical regime in any country. This bill clearly demonstrates the president's willingness to listen to critics and hear the cries of the masses. Kudos, President George Weah. You have lived to your promise, which was made during your inaugural address. I am a pro-poorist. I believe in pro-poorism, and from my poor community, Vafli J.M. Dukley writes. And this one says, let me congratulate President Weah and his entire delegation for their visitation made to the European Union. President Weah's visit was really timely because Liberia benefited both money and security that Liberia hopes to benefit very soon. OKFM, an opposition to CDC, but I have never and would never go against development. President Weah's visitation to the European Union brought back to Liberia 27 million and several benefits. Just so you know, when good things are done, it's always necessary for us to recognize and, if possible, praise our noble president. Again, I'm not against President Weah taking loan for development, but I'm against the wrong procedure used in getting the loan. Now, I hope the 426 million loan deal that Minister Yimpa of Public Works is defending is in the best interest of the country. Lastly, let me commend the Press Union of Liberia for putting into place several activities for this year's Awards Day, which is slated for this weekend in Buchanan. James Naplasco Fala from Soniwen Community and former representative candidate of District Number 8, Maserado County writes, and this one says, I bring you greetings from my comfort purple zone in the only unrepresented district, District Number 9. I'm highly delighted, grateful, honored, and pleased to express my profound gratitude to President Weah and the delegation for their fruitful visitation to the EU. And I pray that whatsoever deal they signed in the name of this nation should have a significant and positive impact on the Liberian people and not for their personal gains. Meanwhile, I'm calling on the relevant authority to speedily respond to the plights of those abandoned leprosy patients in Swakokobon County. Moreover, a very big thanks goes to the PUL and organizers of the 2018 Excellence Award to recognize our hard-working journalists within the print and electronic media and media houses across the country for their tireless efforts. I think this will serve as a great motivation for them, and I hope you guys won't be selective. From the Elfie Community District Number 9 is Michael Ting Positive Bander. So this development now A member of the Liberian legislature has called on Muslims in the country to offer prayer for the nation. Muslims worldwide are observing what is known as a holy month of Ramadan, a period of immense prayer and fasting. Representative Yeke Kolliie of Mansourado District 10 spoke Wednesday when he donated 210 bags of 25 kg rice to the Islamic community.
I have come to identify with the Muslim community of Mansourado County. This donation we're doing is not, district number 10 is not part of it. That's my district, I'm going to handle it myself. So I have come, apart from district number 10, we brought 210 bags to give to you, to give to your people. Let them remember the country while they pray, and remember us while they pray, and to see how best we can carry the country forward. So we have come on behalf of the Friends of Yeke. We brought 210 bags for you and your people as you people go along with your Ramadan. Takbir.
District number 10, Mansourado County Representative Yeke Kolliie, receiving the rice on behalf of Muslims at the Gurley Street Mosque in Monrovia. The Grand Mufti of Liberia, Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo, lauded the lawmaker for the gesture and promised to pray for Liberia.
Thank you very much for your donation to the Muslims in this holy month of Ramadan. We know very well Islam is a religion of peace, harmony, and love, and good neighborhood. And you are our leader. You have been selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the representative in this district number 10. And Allah did not do that just because He don't know. He does not know. Allah knows that maybe there's a benefit for the mass in you. That's why He selected you to be the representative of this district. And today when you come back to address yourself to us on behalf of all Muslims in Liberia, we are telling you thank you.
The Grand Mufti of Liberia, Sheikh Abubakar Sumaworo. The head of the National Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia, Chief Zanzan Kawa, has called on government to discontinue the transfer of taxes collected in the counties to national government. Chief Kawa said the money should remain in the county and should be used to carry on development in that county rather than sending it to the national government. Franklin Dolokwe is our correspondent in that county, and he now reports. Okay, we apologize. We can't get that clip for you, but as soon as we can lay hands on it, we get it right there for you. Liberia Land Authority Chairman and Dr. Otello Brandy is calling on the National Legislature to speedily pass the Land Right Bill currently before that body. The Land Right Bill, since its submission to the legislature during the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has languished there in the corridor of the legislature without passage. Speaking at the launch of the Gender Unit and Women's Land Rights Study in Monrovia Wednesday, Dr. Brandy said the passage of the Land Rights Bill will alleviate the constraints regarding the ownership of land in the country.
As a result of the policy, we drafted a comprehensive land rights law that was sent to the legislature in 2014, still hasn't been passed. It's been 4 years, and we still hoping that it will get passed soon. We completed a comprehensive land administration policy. One of the recommendations from that policy was the creation of the Land Authority. Now we have the Land Authority done. A number of other recommendations coming out of that policy now are being effected through the drafting of legislation and put in place of the
Liberia's Land Authority Chairman Dr. Otello Brandy. Let's now take some of your reaction coming into our page. This one says, President Weah is breaking the curse on Liberia's presidency. His growing ambition to see Liberia develop separates him from the list of failed politicians. Indeed, he's the last hero of Liberia's politicians. Clarence Fale writes. Good morning, OKFM and the resilient people of Bear Gunner Town, Tien District, Bombay County. I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the national legislators for the 4G passage of their controversial loan agreement because they are seeking their own interest. President, we are just continuing with your make-believe loans, all in the name of developing Liberia. From a political resident, his name is Ansu Coleman, and this one says, "Good morning, President Weah, and the productive young people of Dole community, where our people are witnessing several episodes of development. The Proper Agenda's blueprint will be unquestionable within the next 4 years. This government has begun healing the wounds of development just in less than 6 months. OKFM, the positive siblings of this government, is increasing the exponential growth of democracy. I'm convinced that this proper government will destroy the anti-Pentagon of development. Additionally, if the Abrahams loan agreement passes, it will give birth to the tremendous economic growth. I'm kindly asking the legislature to pass this agreement so as to put Liberians on the economic growth evolution." Mohammed A. Dukle from United Methodist University writes, this one says, "Good morning. I want to appreciate the European Union for its direct budgetary support to our country. This will help mitigate the impact of a potential budget shortfall that was predicted by Minister of Finance. Thanks also to President Weah for his leadership ability that is attracting foreign assistance to our country." Jack Quason writes, "Good morning, OKFM. I'm equally concerned about the harsh living condition of our fellow countrymen that are suffering from leprosy in Debon County. The issues of the lack of medication and insufficient meal are OH issues that I want to kindly appeal to this government to take it as seriously in ensuring that smiles return to the faces of our people." This one is from Chokon Mongar, and he writes from Metropolitan State University, USA. This one says, "Good morning, OKFM, and the peace-loving people of Liberia. In a very special way, I'd like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the European Union for their continuous support to Liberia. I think the contribution of $27 million to our economy is laudable. I'm also asking the Honorable House to please pass the $426 million loan agreement as fast as possible. I think the Liberian people's job needs to be done, and the government is ready for action. From Worcester, USA, I am Kwetu Lawrence Solonte." And this one says, "Hi, OKFM. Would like to extend our thanks and appreciation to His Excellency George Manuel Weah for his influential and dedicated attitude to ensuring Liberia becomes one of those developed countries in West Africa that we all dreamed of. And we pray that God grants him additional understanding and wisdom to that which he already has, and that the devil and his followers be put to everlasting shame for doubting his ability as a true patriot and one who came from the slum and truly understands the need of the masses." Kelvin Smith from Clarton writes. This one says, "Welcoming development for Liberia, Mr. President. Let your words be your words. No time should be misused because we will be held accountable." Alfonso Weah writes, "Good morning, OKFM and the good people of Castle Boulevard, Gardnersville. I want to take this opportunity to thank our Black President, President George Weah, for his hard work towards the development of Mama Liberia. Let those oppositions that don't want to see Liberia develop find place and sit. We will support the president by any means in which he tried to find money in order to develop Mama Liberia. Thanks." And his name is Benjamin Selly. He writes from Castle Boulevard, Gardnersville. "Good morning, OKFM, and my peace-loving people of Virginia Waterside District 17. It is a good decision made by the president, and I want to assure the Liberian people that this president will be one of Liberia's best presidents. Thanks to our president and to the Press Union of Liberia, it is a good idea to honor some of the best reporters in the country, but the award should not be for journalism in Monserrate, Grambassa. That should be the award should be for journalists in Monserrate, Grambassa, etc. And this one is from Justin P. Dennis. And finally, OKFM are right from Jamaica Road Intellectual Center, and this is my recommendation to national government. Please allow all sand and crushed rocks in the construction of these road projects be sold by Liberians and only Liberians. This will serve as a means of empowering the poor citizens. Say no to Chinese and outsiders for selling rock and sand in our country. And it's by Razak Khanan. He writes. Let's now rejoin Augustine KOLLIE to bring us foreign developments.
Ethiopia's government coalition has announced it will fully accept and implement the peace deal that ended its border war with Eritrea. It says it will accept the outcome of a 2002 Border Commission ruling which awarded disputed territories, including the town of Batmi, to Eritrea. This will end a dispute with Eritrea that sparked Africa's deadliest border war in 1998. Tens of thousands of people were killed in 2 years of fighting. The two sides have remained on a war footing, as Ethiopia had, until now, refused to accept the ruling of the Border Commission, which was set up as part of a peace deal. As a result, Ethiopia had refused to withdraw its troops out of the disputed areas, leading Eritrea to accuse Ethiopia of forcibly occupying its territory. And a Kenyan woman who was publicly humiliated after staff at one of the capital's top hotels accused her of being a prostitute has been awarded 3 million shillings in damages. Winfred Njoki Clark took the 5-star international hotel in Nairobi to court 2 decades after they labeled her a woman of questionable moral conduct in front of other customers, according to the Nairobi News. She was then escorted from the premises and handed over to police, who kept her in custody for 2 decades. Hotel staff had jumped to the incorrect conclusion after she arrived at a hotel without a man, planning to meet a female friend for a drink. The Attorney General, the George Adams, must pay another 1 million shillings in compensation. The Foreign News.
Augustine KOLLIE there, bringing us to the end of today's presentation of NewsNet. Before leaving you a recap of stories we closely followed. Government and European Union signed a new economic cooperation agreement attracting initial $27 million in direct budget support as Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan calls for the rectification of the new pre-financing loan agreement in the tune of US $426 million between Liberia and Ibomaf. Patients with leprosy at Swakoko Rehabilitation and Reintegration Center in Bon County alarmed over the lack of adequate medication, saying their food does not come on time. That's the Press Union of Liberia sets. All is now set for the 2018 Excellence Award in Buchanan at this weekend, while lauding President Weah for resubmitting a bill seeking to decriminalize free speech. And away from Liberia, Ethiopia's governing coalition has announced it will fully accept and implement the peace deal that ended the border war with Eritrea. We would like to say many thanks to our news director, editor, correspondents, and many reporters for successfully packaging this edition. Augustine KOLLIE was here with a news bulletin and later brought you foreign developments. Jimmy Wilson sat at controls and produced the sound. And on behalf of the entire team here at OK Communications Incorporated, I presented Olive Stevenson. To have yourself a pleasant good morning. And for more news on the station, you can log on to www.okfmlr.com. Thanks for watching and listening.